from the 1011 Now streaming studio in Lincoln, Nebraska, this is the End Report Husker Show.
Good morning from Memorial Stadium, where it is game day, sort of, for the Nebraska football team. With Chase Madison, I'm 1011 Sports Director Kevin Suits. Spring game day, as the red-white scrimmage takes place here at 11 a.m. It's a morning kickoff, Chase. That's because TV, it's going to be broadcast live on Big Ten Network this morning.
Yeah, should be an exciting day. The weather's nice compared to all the damaging storms yesterday. But, you know, there is a chance for storms, but they've kind of prevailed, at least for now, to have a pretty good atmosphere here. Yeah,
it's a really, really nice day today. The sun is shining. There's a slight breeze. It feels a little bit fall-like in a way, maybe early season. But the red-white scrimmage, always a good time. Matt Rule says, don't call this a celebration. He wants to call it football. They're going to try to get after it today and see how some of these players do in this setting. Attendance today should be around 60,000.
Yeah, it should be a good test for those players we haven't seen in front of the fans. A lot of new faces on this Husker team. A big freshman class that came in January, and their work has been, I guess, building up until this point, and it's going to be kind of a measuring stick game for some players.
Freshman class, so you're saying we should start talking about Dylan Raiola right now?
No, I'm not saying that, but
let's go ahead and start.
Be one of the storylines.
Let's start talking about the quarterbacks. Not just Dylan, but Daniel Kalen. These are two young quarterbacks. They should be going to prom. Instead, they're going to practice with the Huskers every single day during the spring season. They're now 14 practices in, and they have been the prevailing storyline of the spring season for Nebraska.
Yeah, it's really a three-headed race with Heinrich Harburg as well. But I think for fans that have just kind of loosely followed this team and saw the big flip by five-star recruit and Husker legacy Dylan Raiola in December, if you haven't been paying attention to spring, this has been more of an even battle, as at least to the media's eyes, as it could be, right? It wasn't an incumbent starter. It felt like last year when you had Jeff Sims kind of get handed the keys a little early. Rule is, not to be pun intended, but ruling all of that out this spring.
Absolutely, and that's what's, I guess, part of the intrigue here today for the red-white scrimmage. Matt Rule says it's going to be ones versus ones, twos versus twos, threes. Well, who's the number one quarterback? And even to this moment, about an hour before kickoff, we don't have a roster. And who's on the red team or who's on the white team. My curiosity is who's the first quarterback with the first-string offense. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Heinrich Harburg, to be totally honest.
Yeah, Rule did say that each quarterback of those three quarterbacks is going to get some run with the first-team offense. But it is interesting. Who do they put out there first? I wouldn't also be surprised by Heinrich Harburg, because he is the returning starter and he is the most experienced by far out of these three players.
Heinrich is the returning starter, and he's going up against a pair of young quarterbacks who just arrived on campus 3 months ago. But from a fan's perspective, Chase, everybody coming here to Memorial Stadium, they want to watch Dylan throw it around. He's not just going to sit back in the pocket. He's going to run around. He'll sling it. And Daniel Kalen, I don't know if people were dismissive of Danny when he got on campus, but he has definitely caught the eye of all the coaches, his teammates, and even during some of the portions that the media were able to watch of practice, he looks so good, and you can tell he's really in lockstep with some of his receivers.
Yeah, well, and he was an Elite 11 finalist as a junior, and someone that was a talented quarterback, and I think he kind of had maybe took a step back his senior season at Bellevue West compared to what he did as a junior. But this is a guy that had offers all over the country. He was initially committed to Mizzou, then decommitted when Raiola picked Georgia. So these two quarterbacks have been kind of in lockstep in the whole Nebraska recruiting process over the past 18 months, and now they're competing for the job.
Now those quarterbacks will wear green, no-contact jerseys for the red-white scrimmage. That's not surprising. Can't afford any injuries at that position, and Matt Rule is pretty outspoken about the quarterback spotlight throughout spring. But also, for those that are interested in the spring game today, who's going to catch the ball? Matt Rule described this as more of a red-white shootout than the red-white scrimmage, because
they know they can run the ball.
They're going to turn the QBs loose, and who's going to catch the ball? They add Jamal Banks, they add Isaiah Nayer, and those are two transfers that it seemed like are really at the front of the wide receiver position. They want to see clean football. They want to see guys catch the ball, and they want to see the quarterbacks protected. I think to sum it all up, that's what is most important for the coaching staff today.
Yeah, it's just to see kind of what the offense looks like, and what that passing game looks like, because it was at times non-existent last year. And this is a team that lost every game in November, had multiple one-score losses, and it felt like the quarterback play was kind of the pendulum that maybe swung this team from a bowl to not a bowl. So it's all eyes are going to be on offense.
Well, they had Chubba Purdy starting against Iowa, and that's no disrespect to Chubba. It's just quarterback play was so important down the stretch when Nebraska needed one more win just to qualify for bowl eligibility, which never happened, and I think that has really motivated this team. It's a bit of a calm scene right now behind us at Memorial Stadium. The team is still mostly in the locker room. We have a few long snappers, a few kickers. You'll notice the specialists wearing green jerseys. Quarterbacks will wear, they're wearing gray.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks are wearing green today. And then it's red versus white, but there are going to be some players who might run from one sideline to the other because they want this to look as much like football as possible.
Yeah, well, and the rules also talk that there is somewhat of a lack of depth at some positions. I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue today, but there is definitely some players that are still nursing injuries. We saw some returning or potentially returning starters like Isaiah Garcia Castaneda that were like the captains of this spring league or the managers that didn't play at all this spring. So there's definitely some guys that maybe won't be full go today, like a Gabe Irvin Jr. as well.
Yeah, it sounds like everybody's going to at least play a snap. Like Ty Robinson might get on the field, make a little bit of contact to get right off the field because there's no reason for Ty Robinson to be playing today. I think the same with Nash Hutmaker. They've really done load management with him coming off the wrestling season. Gabe Irvin, you mentioned, Ramir Johnson, might see him for a few plays.
Fedoni is another player that who knows how much he'll play.
This is going to be a game that's really dominated by the second and third stringers. And, you know, you look at the running back position a year ago, they are so valuable to the team because last year Nebraska lost both Irvin and Johnson on the same day. And then all of a sudden, a guy like Emmett Johnson goes from third string to first string, and he ends up starting 6 games down the stretch when he started last year, Chase. Pretty much at the middle to bottom of the depth chart at the running back position.
Yeah, and also it'll be interesting to see like the guys that did miss time last year versus the guys that got opportunities, because I think the injury bug that hit the Huskers at times last year gave a pretty great opportunity to players like Emmett Johnson. But now you have a returner like Ramir Johnson coming back, and he's saying that he wants his snaps, he wants his playing time. So it is you're going to have to this roster is going to have to condense somewhat heading into this fall. It's a big roster right now.
Yeah, you look at the defensive backfield as well. You know, Marquise Buford doesn't play a lot last year, did on the backside, and it allowed some of those younger players to get a lot of time on the field. All right, let's go. A couple players you're most excited to watch today. You're not allowed to say any of the quarterbacks' names.
Demetrius Bell is a guy that has a lot of speed on the outside. He's a receiver that is up and coming, might get some run today. Obviously, you'll see the names that you saw last year in Alex Bullock. But yeah, Demetrius Bell is a guy I would definitely want to see. On the defensive side of the ball, I want to see how much Stephon Thompson plays. He's a guy that has been getting into shape. Syracuse transfer, Tony White's familiar with him, and he has the potential to be a starting linebacker. But he's definitely been taking steps to get there this spring, so that's another guy that I want to keep my eye on.
Good choices. I'm going to go with Jamal Banks.
Yep.
You know, he's a wide receiver transfer who was all ACC at Wake Forest. Don't know how much he's going to play, though, but I am really excited. We got some
bug there.
keeping us on our toes because the team isn't out here, so somebody's got to stay nimble.
There's only specialists out here, if anyone's wondering.
I'll say Jamal Banks, though I do know that he may not play the most. Bly Hill, I think he's one of the stars of the spring season for Nebraska this year. He's a defensive back, a young guy, but it sounds like he has matched up with everybody that they put across the line of scrimmage from him. So Bly Hill's going to be a guy I'll keep my eyes on today.
Yeah, it'll also be to see another name that might be interesting for fantasy is Ruquan Buckley. He switched to the offensive line. It'll be interesting to see if he gets in there, blocks some guys. He was a force up front on the defensive line, but they decided to switch his position. It'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Today's game kicks off at about 11 o'clock. It will be televised live on Big Ten Network. Sounds like it will be about a 2-hour game, not too much past that, Chase. That's not because of the weather. It's because of the TV window. Big Ten Network will then be broadcasting Nebraska baseball, taking on Iowa. That game is scheduled to start at 1:15. So, not saying TV rules everything, but TV is going to control a lot of what happens today. So expect about a 2-hour scrimmage for Nebraska. And that's kind of in line with what some of these Saturday practices have been over the past month or so, is Nebraska has been scrimmaging on Saturdays about the same time. So Thankful right now that we're inside Memorial Stadium. It's a good day to watch baseball, softball, or football, and just excited to see Husker Nation all back together. We should not leave out before we go here that there is a new apparel line on Huskers.com. The proceeds of that are going to go toward tornado relief efforts. Of course, we're expecting multiple scenarios in which there's going to be some tributes to those affected by the tornadoes that hit Lincoln, Waverly, Bennington, and Elkhorn. Just a tragic scene across our state yesterday.
Yeah, this is spring game is, well, it is football. It's also a great opportunity for the community to rally together and kind of lift each other up in times of hardships. And our thoughts are with everyone that was impacted yesterday, along with the storms. And the thing that you hope is that today, we don't have any more inclement weather to really impact us. And this is just an opportunity for everyone to get together and really support Husker Nation.
If you want to help out and give to those communities, we have some information at 1011now.com. Also, as we just mentioned, there is some apparel you can purchase at huskers.com. We stick together in all kinds of weather. That's one of the phrases, right, Chase?
Yeah.
And that's what's going to happen across Husker Nation and across the state in the wake of those tragic tornadoes. Doesn't sound like there have been any fatalities, remarkably. And there is potential for some severe weather this evening as well. So we hope all those people traveling to Lincoln for the ball game today can get home safely and, if needed, get to a safe space this evening.
Yeah, they hit the nail on the head.
All right, with Chase Madison, I'm Kevin Toots. Thanks for logging on and watching a little bit of our pregame coverage from Memorial Stadium. We will have highlights, interviews, and all the goods at 1011now.com. Also, during our newscast this evening at 6 and 10 p.m. Again, we're live at Memorial Stadium ahead of Nebraska's red-white scrimmage. Kickoff is scheduled for 11 a.m.
table, so we had to calm down. Coach to the right with a right, you done automatically get shot down. Went out of town, had a loss, and when I was working, ain't had nobody around me, had nobody around me. That fell out when he was gone, I had to go sit down and run out of time. And I was standing on the ground, ain't had nobody around, I'm fighting the sun. I feel like that cold, I got sand for all my days to go. Been through hell and everything, go pull up a scan and give me up. Back in the streets, so free, we had tail and big up. I had a best friend, it ain't no good talk, keep it a buck. All that listen to Gucci and D's, listen to Dog, we'll kill you, rap. Every time we done it, so call the car, know what you're about to do. Come slip it, you get a reward. And it's not more people for. Got the key, you need your door. You can add it, your pen, and the careful to drinking the door. Wow, wow, wow. Why you turn? Swinging, so why you turn? We going on the road, out the road, wow, wow, wow. Now we ain't trying to spot no one. We ain't trying to make pictures on one. No one ain't being in it. Wow, wow, wow. I heard the boy, you better move. Say, I'm hoping you come on. And I'm gonna talk about it. Wow, wow, wow. You get it back for it. I ain't talking about it. You gon' have your shit out of me. shit up, put me in beat. Dissecting my words and start looking too deep. I look in the teeth and start sucking my teeth. I'm letting it rock cause I love the mystique. I still wanna do me a song on my beat. Can't trust everything that you saw on IG. Just know if I dish you, I make sure you know that I hit you like I'm on your car ID. I'm making an album in front of this pretty I brother can shit ain't no fun for me. Steady is getting bigger than the brother to the new drop like a father of D. Love on it all, you know how to some see. Is it kid God, is it over to me? The big three make me started to leave. But right now I feel like Muhammad Ali. Yeah, Muhammad Ali. The one that they call when they connect. They don't feel like I got a job in IT. Now with me is the biggest mistake. It's
I tried my best. Just ignored a lot of it. When they come out of I just assumed was that you guys stay on because they finally came out.
themselves in making that engine run smoothly. We supply our farmers and ranchers with quality John Deere equipment, parts, and service. We also deliver the most advanced technology and precision ag strategies to help them farm today and for the future. Acres Equipment, solutions for every field.
This is the Husker Football Red-White Spring Game, presented by Sarpy County Tourism. Plan your getaway at GoSarpy.com.
Rick Scheib, David Benny, welcome you back inside the Auto Company's broadcast booth. Oscar's out warming up, and you ready for this red-white scrimmage, which will be practice 15 as they wrap up spring football in 2024. Before we get any further, I do want to echo the comments that Jessica and Damon made earlier about our hearts thoughts go out to all the folks affected by those storms yesterday, particularly up in the Elkhorn area, and I know Waverly got hit. There were some storms out by west of Columbus as well, but man, some of those pictures, TV, are heartbreaking, and it's going to be a climb for people, but just know you're going to get through this.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what Nebraskans do. They rally, and unfortunately, there's a practical application to it against the storms of yesterday.
Puts into perspective a little bit about this is important today, but and life is really more important, and so we miss you. We hope. I know some people probably couldn't come down today because they're dealing with the after effects of those storms, so we'll hope to kind of entertain you, maybe brighten your day a little bit here from Memorial Stadium. Practice 15. What were these experiences like for you as a player?
I tell you, it's a great question, and for us, it feels a lot like how it's beginning to be now, where it's very intense. It absolutely matters, and you're starting to build sequentially. Right? Winter is so you can have a better spring. Spring is so you can have a good summer. Summer is so you can have a good fall. Here's the cool thing, Sharpie, is if Nebraska starts winning in the fall, I think spring and how we view it will change dramatically, because it hasn't been a microcosm of anything except unsuccessful falls. If you start to have successful falls, people will really get behind what's happening in the spring again, as there will be more of a direct correlation.
Coach wants to see real football today. He goes, I've watched some of these spring games, and they're have a carnival and a Ferris wheel in the middle. He goes, I want to play real football today. Yeah,
it's just like his personality, right? There's just not a whole lot of nonsense. And when he's out here on the field, that's the last place he wants nonsense. This is going to look a lot like football, and he's going to demand excellence.
I think one thing he wants to do today is he really wants to work on communication. One of the biggest changes to college football is now the microphone in the helmet, so coaches can communicate with quarterbacks. Somebody on defense will also have one. He wants them to put him in. He wants his team to be put in spots today where they have to utilize that. So when you go to play UTEP at the end of August, it's not an out-of-body experience.
Yeah, great point. And I think the thing about it is, we'll see when quarterbacks break the huddle and how many times they either gesture or put the hand on the helmet as though they need more clarity.
even harder. And so I'm really proud of him and where he is, and he's doing a really good job.
You and I were just chatting before, and we were talking about Dylan, and he went to wrestling matches and basketball games, and you had told him, never lose being a fan because he's a fan of this place. Why was that an important message for him?
Because you can learn so much being a fan. It's, you can learn so much of what other people are doing, but you can appreciate and have gratitude for, the steps that you've taken. I mean, look at all these people here, but for him to go to basketball games and go to wrestling matches and, volleyball games, and so he's all in. He's all in. He's always been a fan. He's been a fan of the best players in the world and got to be there right along my side, in my journey. So that's not gonna ever stop in his journey.
You were saying you've been to lots of spring games, but nobody does it like Nebraska, right?
No, nobody does. The fans show up. It's a great environment, and especially what they're putting in the building now. The people that they put in the building to run this organization, to run this program, is second to none. It's elite, and you can really come here and spread your wings and make something happen.
Well, DB, David Benning's up there in the booth. He's already talking nonsense. You got anything you want to say to him?
Not surprised. I just wish I could hear what he was saying.
Thank you so much. Enjoy the day.
Thank you.
Greg?
Retort?
Yeah, this should just set me up for failure. People have seen Dom here lately, and they remember his temperament. He's a lot more fit, and he's always been kind of mean-spirited. I don't have much to say.
He's bigger than you. Say he's bigger than me. All right. Dylan obviously is a big focal point today of what people want to see. And Danny Kalin also the same thing. Heinrich Harburg is not going to give this thing up without a fight. A lot of attention on the three guys wearing the green jerseys today.
Yeah, and it's interesting because if you're Coach Thomas and Coach Satterfield, you want them all to look a lot alike. Right? I mean, that's the goal for the end of today. You want to make sure that those guys look like they're equally prepared and well prepared. Well, the funny thing is we start with Dylan because he's probably the prohibitive favorite. But the guy that we'll learn the most from in terms of what's been going on will be H2, and that'll be Harburg because we've seen him so much. We have a good sample size. We have a good sample size at the Power 5 level. All eyes should be on him first, just to see how he's grown.
Damon, people may forget he led this team in rushing last fall.
It's just hard to move wins to the back of the bus.
Right.
Coaches are a little reluctant to do that because they play the guys that they trust. And if there is development, again, you don't want there to be a ton of separation. Because number one, if there is, what's my recruiting eye look like?
Yeah.
Number two, what's my teaching look like? You want as many, it's like a classroom. You want as many good students as possible.
Well, we talked about the communication of the helmet. That's why I think we're going to see them throw the football quite a bit today. I think they're going to get into some fast-paced offense, maybe some 2-minute type drills. And the offense is coming off of the scrimmage from last Saturday. They were terrific. They scored like 10 touchdowns in the scrimmage.
And the cool thing about it is if you just are good with math, like guys like you and Coach, a lot of wide receivers, a lot of defensive backs. So if you want to see multiple guys at a time and be efficient, throw the ball. Right? It'll tell you a lot because you have so many young players in potentially key spots on both those sides of the ball and both those position groups. You might as well get as good a grasp of it as you can by seeing as many as you can.
Well, let's stay in the offense. You mentioned the wide receivers. You just heard me ask Coach Rule a minute ago about the two transfers. How have they been at Jamal Banks and Isaiah Nayor? Those two kids are impressive. Banks has been off the charts impressive in the Wake Forest transfer.
Yeah, he's been outstanding. Good leader. He took command of that group right away. You can tell he's experienced. And Nayor may be the most talented. In my opinion, he's a Sunday talent. And when I watch him, his fluidity, he competes on multiple plays in a row. What young receivers don't realize is a lot of times what his indicator of success is how many times you can repeat something. And in high school, that doesn't happen. Right? You run a couple of flat patterns in practice. Coach wants to see the next guy. The ability to handle rigor as a wideout is critical. How many times can I do something at a high level in a row? And so the more experienced guys get that, and Banks has definitely done that. But Nayor, he's so right? He doesn't feel like he was treated very well in his last college experience. He's embraced this culture, loves the family atmosphere. He should be by nature, so his competitiveness will be good for some of the young guys.
Started his career playing for Craig Bowl out at Wyoming. Let's talk, Dom can talk offensive line. Let's talk running backs. That's a favorite subject of yours. Coach Roy loves this room. We're see Ramirez today. He will not hold him out. And if Johnson's had a good year, I'm anxious to see Dalton transfer from Oregon, how he looks.
Yeah, right there. He's been kind of a hammer, right? He's a see a hole kind of get in the hole kind of guy. Downhill run. Like to see him add a little creativity to his game. Like what happens if it's not clear cut? Can I put my foot in the ground and get to where I need to be? Ives has been spectacular. I'm reluctant to want to fall too much in love because I know at the running back spot it's much easier to look good on a Tuesday, Thursday, and then a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, right? You can show flashes of brilliance without being the guy yet. So I'm a little talent-wise. He's sensational, and EJ's one of my favorites. He has been a model competitor. And when he attacks practice, when they talk about everybody else but him, he's a special individual.
Great athlete. Coach Burrow made an interesting comment in his press release a couple of days ago. He said the Tuesday, Wednesday Huskers last fall were better than the Saturday Huskers. And now you've got to convert that. And that's a confidence thing, right? That's like a belief that we're going to make the play or not make the play.
Yeah, he's such a good orator. I completely agree with you. You'd watch them during the week, and then Saturday before, and you and I would look at each other and we'd say, that's a team that is too used to checking the rearview mirror.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to drive, right? Like trust your training. But when it hadn't yielded results, you tend to kind of get a little wayward. And for Coach Rule and this staff, how often are they speaking into existence? They talk all the time about the emotion, the psychological, being able to endure, to not pay attention to outside noise. They've done a really good job of trying to simulate stressful situations. Coach Rule seems like he embraces operating in chaos. He just, hey, figure it out. So it's not always going to be drawn out the way it is. Figure it out. And sometimes it's on the fly. And his guys are just now starting to be able to emulate that.
Just got a note from Tony White. So guys, we do have a defense. So let's talk about the defense here. I know you earlier anxious to see all the DBs today. Great competition back there. And they will be tested by guys like Naorn Banks today and Bullock and all the rest of them they'll have to cover. What about the defensive side? And apparently not a good scrimmage for that group last week.
Yeah, we see all what do we like to do as fans? Sometimes we wait for the football account to tweet out pictures and stuff in practice, and it's always guys catching long balls.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, who's covering these guys? Right? It's like, and for Coach White, you can't ever highlight one highlighted with interceptions because that means your offense isn't taking care of the ball. So these guys have something to prove today. I think the defensive line, they're young in some spots, but their rotational guys are really chomping at the bit to catch the big dogs like Cutmaker and Ty Robbins and Judy and those guys. So that competition is good. The second level, you get booming stars potentially like John Bullock gets to the Super Bowl. And then on the back end, I think we're underselling what they're replacing for. Newsome and Omar Brown and Phelan Sanford. How many times did we see a guy go down in the secondary? Phelan Sanford will play one of the three positions. Don't undersell that. They've got a lot of inexperienced guys at this level. So I can't wait to see it sort itself out to go behind some potential studs like Gifford and a healthy Deshaun Singleton for once who has yet to participate in small.
In defense of that defense who gave up all those scores last week, we're not seeing Nash. We're not seeing Ty. We're not seeing Gifford. Those guys, and I saw Jamari Butler a little bit ago down there arguing with Pot Roast. He wants to put him in if they're going to let him get.
How good does he? We said this last, I'm a big JV guy, and I watched his frame last year. He's ready to assume a position. He led them in tackles a year ago, surprisingly. Right? I was like, hey, who's your tackle for loss kid? Oh, that would be Jamari. He's even more streamlined than he was a year ago. He looks sensational. And he's kind of mean-spirited, so I like that as a guy that wants to get reps. It's a lot like Nash. These guys don't like watching. They don't.
I'll fight you.
Go ahead. 100%. You have to go get him out of drills.
All right, team has exited back to the locker room. We're going to have some pregame festivities down the field here in a little bit. We need to slip in our final break before
Today's spring game broadcast is brought to you by Sarpy County Tourism. Sarpy County, where great food, drink, shopping, concerts, and fun await you. Stay, play, and plan your getaway at GoSarpy.com.
For generations, hardworking people have relied on Ford F-Series trucks, making them America's best-selling trucks 47 years straight. Introducing the new 2024 Ford F-150 and Ford Super Duty, the 2024 North American Truck of the Year. This is the next generation of Ford truck. Financing for 72 months plus 1,000 bonus cash. Share a new 2023 F-150 only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Driving becomes deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
This is Big Red Football.
Triple B Food has the products to help your cows thrive. Whether it's weekly delivery of consumption-controlled Lumix liquid mineral and protein, or sweet organic supplements for space feeding, while also stretching your forrages up to 25% better, Triple B has you covered. Let Brian and Brad Blondin take some of the stress out of your beef production this year. For more information on other products, visit Triple B Food. Triple B Food. Helping you protect.
Really?
A student once a week at the school can make a positive impact in their life and have a ripple effect in our communities. Please join our team. Go to teammates.org today.
From sunup to sundown, you're in the field working hard to get the job done. And you deserve equipment that's right there with you. The brand high-speed disc is purpose-built to take on your longest days with heavy-duty components and robust construction that delivers legendary dependability. And with a $7,000 rebate on now, there's never been a better time to bring your operation up to speed. For details, visit Bryant.ca.
Hey, Husker fans, get ready to elevate your game with Ag Equipment Multi-Clubs. Featuring a wide range of tractors and harvesters, including the award-winning Lexion Combo. Built right here in Nebraska. Plus, equipment isn't just made, it's made for more. Get more value, efficiency, and winning performance in your field this season with Flawless. Visit your Flawless dealer today or go to CRAS.com.
We've running up and down the field to the guys in scarlet and cream this season and monitor your irrigation system remotely with FieldNet. Easily installed on any brand or age of pivot, FieldNet lets you monitor irrigation from anywhere, whether home or away, right from your phone or tablet. Check out the newly redesigned platform, making irrigation management easier than ever. See your local Zematic dealer or visit myfieldnet.com to learn how you can kick off your best season yet.
Plungers and store-bought chemicals can only go so far and can harm your drains. Call the professionals at John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical to get your drains flowing. We won't only make sure the clog is taken care of, but we will ensure your drains are completely clean so the clog will not come back. Give
John Henry's
a call today. 435-5555. And electrical.
This is the Husker Football Red-White Spring Game, presented by Sarpy County Tourism. Plan your getaway at GoSarpy.com.
Cornerstone Bank time and temp, 10:54. It is 62 degrees, a north breeze at 8. Beautiful day, absolutely beautiful day here today. Cornerstone Bank, they are committed to providing you game-changing solutions for your financial needs. Banking a solid foundation, Cornerstone Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Great Jessica, and now we talked about the number of recruits on that sideline that you're standing on over there. There's a massive humanity. Not sure how you're making your way through there.
Support staff or coaching staff going over, chatting with those recruits, and interacting with the families, and that's what it's all about, right? And that's what ultimately sells these guys are those relationships that they're building. You can totally see it when they're here on the sideline, and just making sure that they're comfortable, whatever you need, and just taking great care of those guys while they're here too.
Chance, I talked earlier with David about some guys that are going to be held out in today's game that aren't happy with it, and I saw Jamari. I think they were arguing with Terrence Knight down the side. He read some of the purple snaps. I'm sure you saw some of that as they warmed up.
It's great, you know, some of these guys, Nash, Ty, that want to be out there so badly, but it's just, it's not being grinded any kind of work, and that was so important to the defensive line, which you can say maybe going back to last year was so important for Hamlin, but Coach Lamont and Young to be ready because those guys, Ty did not go through spring last year, so they were able to get a lot of reps, and so this is good. Depth in the O-line and D-line, which you need all the bodies you can get, and some of those other young wide receivers, running backs, just getting them these opportunities, these game-like opportunities is really, really good.
Yeah, officials for a spring game. That's a lot.
And you're expected to see a couple of commitments after this. It's just changed dramatically. I think Paul might have played good football is going back to Coach Rule's personality. Hey, the fanfare, this is cool, right? You don't get 60,000 for spring game, but we're going to actually make this look like football. We need you to be a part of this, and this is how you can help us.
It's been a good week for They've had a couple of commits during the week. They've allowed that momentum to continue to build. David, we're coming to the end of the second approval. Like a year for college football stops being the first. There isn't a guy on the roster yet. There will be tonight, tomorrow, Monday, whenever I complete today. What do you make of the fact that the lack of numbers of Nebraska guys in around the corner?
I love what they're doing because it is intentional. They want to make this place such a good place for people that you're almost afraid to see if the grass is greener on the other side. And what do they talk about all the time? If you show up every day and you prepare, we can get you ready not only to be a future pro in your sport, but a pro athlete too. So being a better person has been a big part of why people gravitate towards this program. It is a good place to be.
And like Coach Rule said, our facilities, our academics, like someone goes, nobody does that in Nebraska, so why would you leave?
How else do you get 5, 6 guys in the You get to practice a lot of real life skills, and they treat you like adults.
And I want to give my friend the media a bit of a shout out. We're covered. They're showing up after game. People talking about it. You'll see some press conferences and post-game things that Michael Trubaus or the interview players. Here, it's an honor for people that go forward. Well, the marching band, they've got a band that's here today. They did not bring the full marching band out to play Husker fight song.
taking them out of attack mode. I think he's going to still do what he does.
Well, one of Nebraska's great traditions is the tunnel walk, and it's about to start as they find out fireworks beyond the stadium scoreboard on the north side. This is such an electric part of it. It's certainly not the same thing as an opponent on the near sideline. This is one of Nebraska's great and proud traditions of Husker football. So we'll lay out, let you listen in on the theatrics, the drama put together by the Husker Vision crew with this week's Tunnel Walk. Still